This photo was sent to me by Prasanth over in India, and it's a tea plantation they've got over there. So a nice sort of sloping greeny hills there, got some distant hills with some, get a nice profile of these trees there in the middle ground. Coming right the way forward, some foreground trees and whatnot. So let's have a look at the materials. It's the usual palette. Always the same way round. Got ultramarine, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, alizarin crimson, raw sienna, burnt umber, light red. Got 3 brushes, large on Ransonite, number 3 rigger, 3/4 inch flat. Cotman watercolours that I use. Water jar, £130 cold press Fabriano Watercolour Paper, and it's clipped to a 9mm piece of ply, keeping it nice inside. And up here I've got my tea towel that's drying on the top. So last quick look at the picture, and then let's get cracking. So I'm using the big 8 brush, and this is just clean water going straight on. Advantage twofold: first, it'll stop it crinkling because it'll stretch evenly, and secondly, it'll make the sky going nice and soft. Now I'll do a bit of raw sienna, maybe a touch of alizarin crimson just to vary it a bit, and then just bash that in. Clean the brush. That distant sky looks a bit sort of grey, so a greyish sky I tend to go a bit of ultramarine, and then just put a bit of Payne's grey into it. Just makes it a bit more moody. You end up with this sort of look. I want to make sure I don't want to get too dark though. Yeah, I've put that in a bit strong. I want to see those distant hills, and I want to see the profile of these trees. So I'm just going to use a tissue now, just to bash in a few clouds. Don't worry if it comes off like that. If they do go anywhere delicate, like where you don't want to, like obviously up here, it doesn't matter because I'm just bashing in clouds. There, wait till they're dry before you start messing about with it, because you'll just ruin your paint. I'm just looking at the photo now. The trees come down about this, so make sure I go a nice profile. I just want to make that a bit lighter. And then when that's in, I'm going to use the same colours. Same colours as the sky. And let's just put in some of this distant land, something like that. Just what you can see beyond the trees. And then it comes like that. Just a touch of green there at the bottom that you can see through there. And you can always just dab the tops if you like, just to make it look a bit more hazy, a bit more distant. You don't want it to stand out too much. Obviously the wetter it is, the easier it is to dab it out, but something like that anyway. You get the general gist of that. You can see already how the paper's stretched slightly. So I'm just going to pull it tight, refix it on this right hand side. Like I say, I'm going to ignore that little bit of tissue that's there until it's dried. It'll just brush straight off. If I do it now, I'll disturb the paint. So that's the sort of backdrop to the whole thing with that distant landing. Next I'm going to put the profile of trees in. So before I do that, I want to make sure it's dry. Just use the hairdryer, shake things up a bit. It doesn't doesn't have to be bone dry. But because we're coming close to the foreground, I want it dry so that the paint goes on thicker and the tree line stands out better against the background. You'll see what I mean. I haven't cleaned the brush. You can clean it if you want, but I'm just going with ultramarine, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, really sort of strong greeny colours. Bit of raw sienna if you like, just throw it all in, all together. Nice and green. And then you can see now, because the paper's dry, it's really standing out now, look. These are our trees going right up. Just try and get a bit of variation. Just throw a bit of light red in there just for the devilments. Back to the yellow. And remember not to colour up what you've just painted in the background. Sort of discipline yourself now. I know I'm only going to go about that high. I just want to I want to be able to see this, so don't go crazy. Bit of alizarin crimson in there, only a fraction, just to change it a bit. And sort of goes back up. I'm just thinking, what is that? I don't really want that gap there, do I? That'll do. That'll do. Just bring that down a bit. Let's just bring these trees right down. Now the level's going to be somewhere about like that. You know, somewhere like that the land's going in. Just give yourself some very slight little guidelines and then bring it down. I'm just sort of working my way through from one colour to the next. I know it all looks pretty green. I do want to get some sort of variation. That's why I'm just tapping the reds, just very slightly, because I want it to be predominantly green. But I do want a little bit of variation in there. I don't want just one uniform colour, because it'll just look so boring. I'm just working out exactly how this land lies now, so it's going to come something like that. Bit of burnt umber there, bit of brown up the top. That's roughly. Now the easy way, how do you make me look even more like trees? It's just bashing a load of tree trunks. So I'm just banging these in. I've probably completely overdone it, but I'll show you. You just paint straight over them if you don't like the ones. If you don't like them all, just paint over them a little bit. Remember, you don't want them given too high. Just paint over them until you've got until they're sort of subtle enough, so they don't look a bit too much. They don't look too bad now. Might even use the rigger. Throw a few. It is a new rigger, incidentally. The old one, this was only about. It was only about £3.50 from the Mart discounts. The old one, I just couldn't get a sharp point on it. I'd had it for about 7 years. I thought it was about time I got a new one. Now, I don't want to do too much in these. I'm not sure if this is actually achieving a fat lot. Just a few little twigs and branches sticking out amongst them all. As always with the rigger, you need plenty of water. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna get too crazy with that. Anyway, I'm cleaning the brush. Back to the height. Clean the brush. One very simple way, if you want to get it dry really quick, if you just sort of put it on the towel and just use your thumb, you see all the water coming out of it, and you go pretty dry hay quite rapidly. You see how much, hardly any water coming out of that now. When I go into the colours, it's all going onto the brush. Now what I'm going to do is this nice little green colour, quick sweep, and I just want to I want to vary this as much as possible now. Again, it's predominantly green, but I want to try and get a bit of variation in there. So I'm just doing a little bit and then back into the palette. You can see how the paint's breaking because the brush is so dry. It's breaking, but at least that gives me a chance to get plenty of variation in there. And switch from one colour to the next. In ultramarine, but I'm always sort of looking at green. They've got all these lines, haven't we? These plantation lines. I just want to suggest, I'm not going to go mad with them, but just put the sort of suggestion of a load of lines or something in there. Just something darker, basically. I don't think, well, I'm trying to find a really quick way of doing it, because I'm not going to sit here doing every single line. Just offer the suggestion of something. That'll do. I mean, there's too dry now, I can't get any paint coming off it all, so I'm just dipping the very tips in, just to bring the hairs together, and also it will release a bit more of the paint. Raw sienna, bring that down a bit. And in the foreground we've got these trees, haven't we? So the first one's sort of nice light. Let's clean the brush again first. Right. Squeeze the water out, nice and dry. Bit of lemon yellow. Such a raw sienna. And what I'll stick some make these look like, they'll look like trees in a minute, bear with me. Let's just get the sort of basic. Scuff that up a bit. Let's just bash a few leaves on and see what they look like. I'm just giving lemon yellow, Payne's grey, a bit of variation, just whack a bit of red on there, nice strong colour. There's not red in the actual picture, but I'm just trying to, I'm just experimenting, if the truth be told. These look like trees, they look like more sort of they look more like sort of foreground bushes and stuff rather than trees. In fact, there might well be bushes. Looking at the picture now, I'm not too sure. I'm just going to make them foreground bushes now, get some variation going. A bit more red over this side. just working my way around the palette basically. It's varying the height a bit. Get a bit more dark. Get dark in this bit, sort of few shadows and whatnot. Down there, a bit more down there. That'll do for that. Now what we need is, I can see like just a couple of little tiny buildings. I'll put one of those little buildings in, so I'm just going to dry it first. That'll do. I'm just looking along the side. As long as there's no glare from the light reflecting off the water, I can see straight away it's dry, so I know I can do that and it ain't going to come off on my fingers. So I can see a little house up here in the photo, so what I'm going to do is switch to the 3/4 inch, just take that hair off. 3/4 inch flat. I'm going to use a damp brush. Let's just pop a little house somewhere right amongst the trees. So we've got pop a roof there. Dab with the tissue. We've got the front, and then just pop the side bit in. And then what I might do is quick dry. Let's just pop a roof on. So I'm gonna use that sort of gloomy sky colour. But I'm using a pretty dry brush now. I'm going to go sort of a bit of burnt umber, a bit of Payne's grey. Let's just pop a little roof on. A bit more water, it's a bit too dry that is. Side of the roof. Yeah, let's just stick a window, I think, and a little windows and a big door there on the side. What we could also do, let's stick a chimney on the top as well, little chimney, and then we can have a little bit of smoke, hang on, I'm just going to just have a bit of grass or something. Sort of grounded a bit, cause it's sort of sat there doing. Now you see our little chimney there. If very easy way to make the give an impression of smoke is take the rigger. And then make sure it's clean, and then which way is the wind blowing? Let's just say the wind's blowing from right to left, so start at the bottom and just using a damp brush, clean damp brush, just pop a bit of just clean water on there, and then take it off. Just looks like a bit of smoke coming out the chimney. Just strengthen that chimney slightly so you can actually see it. That'll do. Having a little figure there, but it's going to have to be small. Just a tiny little figure. I don't know if you can see that very well. Just try and make it a bit. Another one. Just walking around there. A couple of birds. Stick a couple of birds in the tree just floating along somewhere up there. And last but not least, pop your signature in the corner. Let's get this a bit stronger. Can't see where I started now. Can't see that. A bit better. I'm going to call that one finished. Now let's have a closer look at it. So here we have our finished painting. Let's have another look at the photograph. You can see the land itself. I've simplified it very much so. Just kept the general sort of sloping land there with the same colours. Rather than painting every single line there on the plantation side, I've just sort of bashed in a few lights, a few darks, just to give the impression of something happening there. You can see where I dabbed out the sky with the tissue, just to lighten it, basically so the profile of the trees would stand out more against the sky, plus the background there that we did first. Yeah, a few quick scrapes with the fingernail. You can see it gives the effect of all these little tree trunks. Tree trunks as the trees work their way up the hillside. The little hut there gives it a focal point with our two little figures strolling around. And a few simple foreground bushes help complete the picture. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you like that. Any questions, please ask. Keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.